Hi you guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how I prep collard greens for actual cooking. So if you're interested on how to prepare your collard greens, getting them all washed and clean for that pot, keep watching. Hi you guys, welcome back to my channel. I am of course Mags Butler Cooks. And of course, we're getting ready for the holidays and all of that jazz. And I'm hoping that you all are staying safe, okay, number one, and doing things at home in a smaller, intimate setting. So this video I wanted to do, it's not going to be really long. I just wanted to show you guys my tip for actually cutting and preparing greens the way I like to do them. It's the way my mom taught me. Of course, I've told you guys before, I'm from the South. And so she taught me how, we like greens. I am a huge fan of collard greens, okay? And I really watched my mom and her process in cooking greens because I love greens. I actually love them Southern style with some fresh cut onion and some tomato with vinegar. Sometimes I do a splash of hot sauce with some good old cornbread. And my grandmother used to crunch her cornbread up in her greens and eat them by hand, okay? So I am a huge fan of collard greens. I don't necessarily like, you can do mustards, turnip greens. Now I will eat like salad greens in dive, but I'm not a fan of cooked turnip greens or mustard greens. However, I am a huge fan of collard greens. I will eat them as a main dish. That's how much I like them, okay? So I want to show you guys a little bit. I'm just going to give you a little bit about how I actually prepare my greens before cooking them, okay? So I have what I like to call my vegetable man, and he has a lot of homegrown items, okay? And I'm going to try to lift these greens up. If y'all can see, I'm going to insert some pictures too on this video. These greens are as big as I am. They are huge. They are so fresh, homegrown, and I just love them. So one thing to note is when you get collard greens, or any type of green for that matter, some greens are definitely dirtier than others. But just be prepared to wash your collards. You want to make sure that you get all of the debris out of them because it can literally spoil your whole dish. Don't nobody want to bite down on some greens and it's some grit there or something that it should not be. So the first tip I'm going to give you is, in which my good girlfriend asked me, how do I store my greens? And so I thought I would share that with you guys as well. So what you want to do when you purchase your greens, if you don't want to cut them right then, so you don't have the pressure of cutting your greens immediately, you want to dry your greens, just dry them off, wrap them in a plastic bag, or you can wrap them in paper towel and store them in the lowest part of your refrigerator. I've had greens last for me like 5 days before I cut them. And the coolness of the refrigerator, you don't want to put them in a very cold spot in the refrigerator because they actually can freeze, and you don't want that. But if you put them in the coolest part of the part of the refrigerator that doesn't get too cold, but it keeps it cool, it keeps your leaves crisp and fresh and ready to go, okay? So as you can see here, I tried to pick, let's see, I'm gonna pick up a tall stalk, okay? So once you get your greens, this is one leaf. You want to inspect it, okay? That's really important because sometimes you will have animals or little critters that like to live and eat on your greens. So when you have a bunch of something, you want to make sure you pick it apart and look through it. That's your first step. So if you have any little critters on your greens, it's easy to just cut around them and get rid of them, or kind of wipe them off. And I always discard the piece of that green, or sometimes if the green itself is like yellowing, or it's got a lot of holes in it where the animal has eaten off of it, or the little critter has eaten, I just throw the whole leaf away. I don't worry with it. But you want to inspect your collards. So I take them stem by stem, leaf by leaf. Okay, this just is my process. And I inspect them and I make sure, okay, there are no bugs there. So now I can tell you, some people love to have the stalk in their greens. A lot of times when you buy bags of greens, like greens that are in the grocery store and they say they're triple washed, I don't believe it. I still wash them anyway. But and I rarely buy those greens, but I do when I'm in a pinch of time. But when you buy them in the bag, they're already chopped and the stems are usually inside those greens. And I'm not a stem type of girl, especially when it's around the holidays and I want to have things extra special for my family. And the way my mom taught me is we discard the actual stalk in the greens. So, and you can do this many ways, but for purposes, y'all, let me tell you, my son bought me this little cute little stand to put my phone in. And the thing is like electronic. So it'll move your phone and all of this other stuff. And I put the phone on there, not realizing the stand has to be like charged to work so I can actually smoothly show you guys things. It ain't charged. Not so much. So, we're just gonna do what we can. You're gonna need a sharp knife. And so I'm going to do the demonstration this way, but typically I lay my greens on my cutting board, which you guys can't see, but I have my cutting board. And you're going to take your greens just like so off the stem, just like this. Just take them off, okay? And here you have the stem that's left. You see, and this right here, I just discard, throw it in the trash. I put it in the other side of the bag. So once I'm done, I just wrap them all up and chunk them. Typically, this is that leaf that I just cut off the stalk. See that? So the middle stalk is out, and I'm doing this detailed for a reason. So typically, I have about 6 of these or 7 of them that I've cut off the stalk. I'm gonna do 2, okay? I'm gonna do another one just to show you guys. So after you inspect your greens, everything looks good on this one. I'm going to actually, there's a little black spot on here. I'm just gonna pull this off to just get rid of it, okay? So I'm gonna take my knife. My knife is very sharp. And I'm going to run it down the stalk on each side. And like you guys, I'm telling you, I usually do this on my cutting board. And I just run my knife along and take it out. But because I got to hold it up, that's what I'm doing. So I get a lot of these together, right? And I'm going to put my greens, I'm going to lay them right into each other, just like so. And then what you're going to do, and I'm going to try to show you this up, I'm bootlegging it, is I just roll those greens up. Now, this is a small roll. I usually have a roll about this thick because I can cut it this thick. And I'm going to show you what I do. What I'm doing is I have it on my cut board and I'm cutting. I'm slicing down, right? Now, for me, in my house, okay, for me in my house, I'm just going to show you this. Let me finish this whole roll. So as you can see, it's like a sushi roll. I just went down and I cut it like this. What I like to do is take them and turn them and boom, I'm done. This bunch of greens will now go into my strainer. So I'm going to take these And I'm just going to drop them down in my strainer like so. So as you can see here, you see there? I want my greens small. I don't cut them big. I cut them like this. Okay, so as you can see, I put those in my bowl. And this is how I start my greens. Because for me, in my house, as I said before, I like when I bite into my greens, they kind of just melt in your mouth. Like they're cooked down, they're flavorful, but they just melt into your mouth. And so that's how I prepare my greens, okay? And these greens, they have just been rinsed. So once I get ready, like before I started my cutting process, I just rinsed the bunch off. Just rinse them randomly, okay? Because once I get them cut and into my strainer, I'm going to take them to my sink and I'm going to thoroughly wash them. And let me tell you a key that I found when you're cleaning your greens, okay? And this is, I think, is a really important key. One of the important things is to make sure that you put your greens down in a stopped up, very clean, okay, sink. Because what I found, if you just rinse your greens off in the strainer, you are liable to have more grit left in your greens. You want to ensure that you thoroughly wash them. So what I found is once you actually put them, you can rinse them off in your strainer, get as much, rinsed as you can, but you want to stop your sink up and fill it with cold water. And you want to put those greens over in that sink and you just want to massage it in that water. Some, you could put a little bit of vinegar in there if you like. I think some people have used baking soda. I don't use baking soda. I typically just use water, and sometimes I may put maybe a tad bit of vinegar in my water. And from there, I just literally I just wash those greens so that when it's in that sink full of water, every piece of grit that is attached to your leaves will have the opportunity to fall to the bottom. So, and you can drain those greens off, refill that sink back up, wash them again, and drain them off. I do it about 2 or 3 times just to make sure I don't have any excess grit in my greens. And I'm telling you, it works out every time. I don't have any issues with my greens. I don't have any issues with grit being in them. And they are clean, thoroughly clean, so that my family can enjoy. And I hope that you try this as well. So let me wrap it up here. Okay, so this is a good amount, okay? You can do more if you can handle more. And then I tightly rolled it. Some people say like roll it like a cigar, okay? But you can tightly roll it. And look at there. See there? Really tight. And I start even from this end where there's some sticking out. I'm already cutting it right there. Because I don't want no big chunks in my greens. I like my greens small and flavorful, so I can get my forkfuls and they're absolutely delicious. How many of y'all put vinegar on your greens? Does anybody put hot sauce on them? Do you see there? I do my 2 slices through and I'm done. That's it for that roll. Now I'm on to the next one. And so this is just an easy way for me that I like to take care of my greens. And of course, I don't do this every time because sometimes I buy greens in a bag. It's not a lot of times that I do purchase collard greens in a bag. But and I do when I'm busy or don't have time or I'm just not minding the stock in my greens. But for holidays and things or special occasions where I really want to take my time, even when I just want a good pot of greens that I can just throw down on, this is how I treat my greens and this is how I do them. Now, I'll have a separate video on actually how I cook them, but I just wanted to share with you guys what I do to prepare my greens for cooking. To show you a bad leaf that I came across, which was, when I tell y'all, this was a beautiful bunch of greens. They were so gorgeous. But I wanted to show you like what I would consider a bad green. And I've seen some worse than this, but I just wanted you to see how this green has yellowed even in the back. And it could be different reasons for this. It could be that this leaf got too much sun or not enough sun. Those who are in the plant world, you can correct me if I'm wrong. And I just wanted to show you, like here you can see where there's here you can see where it's been eaten by a little critter, maybe, you know, I don't know. This one just seemed like it just went through a lot right here. And so this right here, since I have so many good ones, I'm just going to discard this one. Another thing I wanted to show you is this one. I've gotten down to this stalk here. I'm with this one, okay? So if you can see here, I pulled these off, okay? Up until about the last like 2 or 3. Now, I have used these before, okay? But typically, the last like 2 of them, I just discard them. I throw them away. These are usually really tender, but sometimes they can be a little bitter. So, you know, you can use them at your discretion. I will just, like these, the 2 baby ones, the real yellow ones, and this one right here, I'm just going to discard. So when I get down to here, as you can see, I'm going to take this one off. I'm going to take this one off just to show you, give you an example. I'm going to take this one off. These are really good. I mean, when I tell y'all these are so pretty, I was so happy for these right here. And I may take this one and this one. These I'm just going to leave, and I'm going to discard all of this right here. Hey, you guys. Okay, so now I'm actually in my kitchen and I'm at the sink, and I am filling my sink up with water, okay? You want to make sure you fill your sink up with water. I think this is one of the keys to ensure your greens are really, really clean. And I'm using cold water, okay? So I'm going to, give me a second. I'm going to turn the camera around so you can see what I do. So you guys, from here, I'm just showing you a little bit what I've already discussed in the video. I'm just ending the video because I didn't do a closing of the video, just of how I, you know, just finish up my greens. And it's just basically rinsing them. But the important key I just wanted to make you aware is putting it down in that sink. Don't be afraid to do that. Stop your sink up and put it down in that sink so that you can thoroughly wash your greens. I hope you guys try this method of cleaning your greens if you've never done it before. You know, my husband told me everybody knows how to clean greens, and so, you know, I said yeah, but I really wanted to do this video. So if you have any questions or comments, please comment down below. Make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe to my channel if you like what you're seeing. More videos are sure to come. I hope you guys are having a great holiday, and of course we're going into Christmas, so I hope you have a wonderful Christmas and a fantabulous New Year.